there are many people jogging, so I'm not gonna join them.
Pom poms out, pom pom poms out, pom poms out, pom pom poms out. Go jilly go jilly go jilly go, jilly 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 go. Pom poms out, pom pom poms out, pom poms out, pom pom poms out. Go jilly go jilly go jilly go, jilly 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 go.
It is 5:30 roughly, and I'm gonna go for a run. I want to record it, but I want to listen to music while I run, so I don't know if I'm gonna record a portion of it or all of it, but yeah, this is my first time going for a run outside. I've been jogging inside, and I see where, yeah, I can do it, so I'm trying it in the outdoors. I'm wearing walking shoes. I don't have running shoes, but I think they should be able to do the job.
Hello, cheerleaders. Minasan, konnichiwa. O genki ni shite imasu deshou ka? Kyou wa skoshi koushin shite imasu yo. So today's video is a little update on goal number 1. In terms of a shift on the scale, there is nothing to show really at this point, so this video is not about that. But I will say I have been continuing my walks. I really love walking. I enjoy it so much, and I love hiking as well, so it's not something that I would neglect. But last month I did not get the opportunity to hike. I know I wanted to do hiking at least once per month. I missed it last month, unfortunately, but I've already done a hike in June. I did one last Sunday, so that's good. And I'm always up for a hike as long as there's a location that interests me. And whether or not I get company, I'm willing to go, to be honest. But something new I've been doing, I haven't been dancing much. I've been jogging a lot. Or I do a combination of jogging and dancing. And I mostly jog in my house. But on occasion, I will go outside. I have also been mad. I've been doing that for 3 weeks now. Yesterday or Sunday and Thursday, I believe, I did actually have 2 meals rather than 1. Though Sunday would have been a new week technically. But for the other days, for the past 3 weeks, I've been OMADing. And actually, so far, it feels good. It feels like an easy routine. And eventually, I want to be like those people who just forgot that they didn't eat. I really believe in fasting, you know. And I am just motivated to continue to push myself because I not only believe in fasting as a weight loss tool, but one for discipline and healing. And I also see where us in the West, we really do overconsume, you know, and we're inactive, not active enough. So I'm trying to balance those 2 things out to accomplish my goal, right? And if you have never heard of the terms autophagy and metabolic flexibility, I'd suggest that you start doing some research, especially if you are someone like me who has struggled with weight loss. There's a lot to learn, and my goal is to achieve both of these things at some point or eventually. And achieving those things involves being at a place where my body cells become more efficient overall, and especially in its ability to clean out damaged cells and burn fat. Through fasting, I'm really hoping to force my body to access and burn stored fat and not just rely on energy I'd get from meals, especially sugars that I would consume through meals. In addition to the frequency with which we eat, what we eat is incredibly important, as well as we want to monitor sugar intake, especially artificial sugar, and secondarily sugar broken down from carbs. Ever since I became aware of the insulin spikes that typically occur when we eat and how the nutrient composition of food can affect the magnitude of the spike or the speed at which nutrients are absorbed or sugar is absorbed within the small intestine, I knew that how we eat was also important. So I have heard the claim long ago that having raw fruits and veggies after eating, say, a protein or fat heavy meal would severely lower nutrient absorption from the fruits and veggies because they would supposedly rot in your stomach before they're able to, or before they get to the small intestine for it to do its absorption work of the nutrients. And I'm not saying whether this is true or not, I can't say for sure. But we can be certain that how we break a fast impacts the body differently. So whether it's breakfast in the morning or having something for the first time after being in a fasted state for several hours, if you choose to break fast with raw green veggies versus a bowl of fruits or a piece of candy or a piece of cake or bread, each of those items will have a different impact on the body when you do consume it. And it just so happens that anything that is high in sugar or carbs, which really breaks down to sugar eventually, has the most detrimental effect. And I mentioned in my first video on how I plan to tackle weight loss that I plan to eat smartly. And I knew that eating fats with your meals helps to slow the absorption of sugar into the body or into the bloodstream, which is helpful. It mitigates against the insulin spikes, which really create stress and just damage because of that stress. So I've been digesting some interviews with a particular young lady called Jessie. It's really difficult to say her last name. But she's the writer of a book called Glucose Revolution. And with her advice, I've become even more intentional about the order in which I eat my meals. And I have been eating raw mixed veggies first, then protein and fats, and then carbs and whatever else I may want to add to that, with a dessert, a sweet, though I don't really eat sweets, but I may bake something or actually, I spontaneously made this recipe. I wanted to make an energy bar, and I just came up with this recipe because I had a whole lot of nuts and I had fruits, and I created this thing, and it was so amazing. So the first time I made it, I made bars. I shaped it into a bar, and the second time I did it into balls, and they were just so incredibly delicious. I didn't bake it, so it's totally raw, and I love that. I love totally raw. I love simplicity in meal prep and baking, especially. I want to make treats that are healthy and natural. That has always been important to me. So I'm so pleased with this recipe. I shared it with my mom as well. She tried it because she had the ingredients she needed, and she loved it. And I just coated it with coconut fine, which is the trash finely shredded, and it's just divine. Trust me, I've been sharing with people too because I'm so proud of this. But anyway, so I have been eating in this order, and especially since I've been doing the OMAD for these past 3 weeks. And the purpose of eating in this order is to use the fiber from the veggies, the fat, and the protein as a net, as she describes it, or a sort of barrier, temporary barrier, to prevent, swift absorption of glucose in the body. Once there's a glucose spike, insulin gets released, and that just creates a huge amount of stress on your body for it to regulate. And it's that stress that is detrimental and especially when it happens multiple times in the day because of how you choose to eat. So maybe you just grab a candy every 2 hours and just have it, and you're creating an insulin spike because that candy has so much sugar. And maybe you haven't eaten, and maybe lunch was also very sugary, very carbsy. So it's just a whole bunch of sugar that it's just gonna create stress on your body to regulate that sugar. So this absolutely makes sense to me because I already acknowledged that how we eat or what we choose to eat, especially after your body has been in a fasted state for several hours, absolutely matters. So next time you feel hungry and you feel like sucking on a candy or snacking on a little piece of cake or biscuit, think twice. And when you eat the simple sugars or carbs, if you do choose to, you'd be better off having them with a meal, and more specifically at the end of the main course. So no wonder desserts are typically left for last, right? Now, since I've been eating in this way, I've noticed something. I don't believe I was a person who, or am a person who have constipation, generally as a general matter. But if you are someone that has irregular bowel movement, maybe every other day, every 3 days, once per week or a month, I've heard these stories. It's crazy to me, but people do experience these things. I think this sort of eating can be hugely beneficial to you in solving that problem. And it's not necessary to do one meal a day or mad, but simply incorporating this strategy in your meal sittings will definitely help you in that regard. A doctor once said, he noted that human beings are the only animals who use toilet paper after using the bathroom. And think about this for a moment and why it is, in my observation and estimation, a profound statement. This doctor went further to say that if you have to wipe more than once, you have a leaky gut. And I can say in my experience, consuming food in this order that I've described, fiber, protein, and fats, then carbs or sugars, will take care of any smear campaign and remove any evidence of a leaky gut. I promise you. So consider that if constipation is a problem for you and you're dealing with a smear campaign. I hope that is clear. Anyway, that's where I'll leave it for today. If you are on a weight loss journey and you'd like to share your experience or you have a question for me, feel free to leave a comment below. I apologize to my squad for being MIA for as long as I've been. I do have good news. I've officially launched my second YouTube channel. Woohoo! But that is all for today. See you next time.
Pom poms out, pom pom poms out, pom poms out, pom pom poms out. Go jilly go jilly go jilly go, jilly 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 go. Pom poms out, pom pom poms out, pom poms out, pom pom poms out. Go jilly go jilly go jilly go, jilly 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 go.